Okay, all right. So, good morning or good day sa inyong lahat. Grade 11 assertive Yums. So, we are not able to finish our topic regarding election. So, I decided to make a pre-recorded session about our topic so we are able to continue discussing our topics here in Philippine politics and governance. So last week we are busy due to management of documents and medical for the papers of the badminton players. So we are not able to meet online. So since next week is wellness break for teachers and learners, I decided to make a pre-recorded lesson. So without further ado, last online classes, we already started discussing this topic in PPG, which is election. We already define election. We already discussed the two main types of election here in the Philippines. And we already discussed when and where election happened and who are the one who manage the voting precincts during election, which are the BEIs or the Board of Election Inspectors, and what's happening during election. So we will now proceed to this, the qualification for local officials. In our previous lesson, we already discussed the qualification for officials for higher positions in the government in the Philippines as stated in the 1987 Constitution. And also, we already started discussing their limits and their term limits. So, let us proceed in this topic today. According to RA number 7160 or Local Government Code, which is existing until today, he or she must be a citizen of the Philippines. If you were run for lower positions in the local government unit, these are the qualifications intended for these specific positions. He or she must be a registered voter in the barangay, municipality or city province or in case member of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, Sangguniang Panglunsod, Sangguniang Bayan, the district where he or she intends to be elected. So like we discussed last meeting, if you want to run for a position in that barangay as a barangay captain, you should reside in that barangay with specific minimum years of staying or residency, which is na-discuss na rin natin last time. Kung gusto mong tumakbo doon sa posisyon na yon as a mayor of that specific city, you should be a registered voter in that city, which is we already mentioned last meeting. So ito kasi ay general. He or she must be a resident therein where at least 1 year immediately presiding the day of the election. Also, he or she must be able to read and write yung literacy, Filipino or any other local languages or dialect. When it comes to age, the requirement is the candidates for governor, local government unit pa rin ito for the governor, vice governor, or member of the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, mayor or vice mayor or member of the Sangguniang Panlunsod of highly urbanized cities must be at least 23 years old on the day of the election or before the day of the election. Ayan, binold na natin, kailangan 23 years old for lower positions in the local government unit as mentioned in this slide. Para naman sa mga punong barangay o barangay captain at members of the sangguniang barangay o yung konsehal ng barangay, at least 18 years old po, mas mababa po ang edad kumpara dun sa mga nabanggit nating posisyon sa local government unit in the previous slide. At least 18 years old of age on the day of the election. Sabi ko naman sa inyo, may filing of candidacy yan or period of filing of candidacy. So, basta before the day of election or on the day of election, kailangan ma-meet mo yung age of requirement na yon. So, let us review the term limits starting with the highest position in the government. When we say president, typographical error, 6 years and is not eligible for any election. So, bawal lang the election for the president. Hanggang 6 years term lang. one term only, according to the 1987 Constitution. And for Vice President, 6 years and cannot run for more than 2 consecutive terms. So, bawal yung more than 2 consecutive terms. 6 years din at bawal yung hindi lalagpas sa more than 2. So, pwede siyang magkasunod unlike the President. Then the Senator, 6 years and cannot run for more than 2 consecutive terms. So, pwede rin magkasunod ang Senator like the Vice President, 6 years ang kanilang termino. So, pwedeng mag-iba ng posisyon, tumigil muna, tapos tsaka ulit tatakbo sa susunod. Member of Representatives, Governor and Vice Governor, Board Member, City and Municipal Mayor, City and Municipal Vice Mayor, City and Municipal Councilors, iba kasi yung konsehal ng bayan sa konsehal ng barangay, Barangay Chairman and Barangay Councilors, 3 years ang kanilang termino and cannot run for more than 3 consecutive terms. So, pwede yung 3 termino na magkakasunod. So, kung sunod-sunod kang mananalo bilang barangay captain ng barangay nyo, pwede kang tumagal ng 9 years consecutively. Tapos, lipat ka sa ibang posisyon. Tapos, tuloy-tuloy ka doon. Just nakakababalik. Pwede yun. So, ang namamahala po, as we discuss, ang namamahala po sa overall management of election in the Philippines, especially the regular election, ay ang COMELEC o ang Commission on Election. Ang kanila pong main office ay matatagpuan malapit sa along Intramuros. So malapit sa Port Santiago, ang Palacio del Gobernador na isa ring naging office of the Governor General during the Spanish colonization in the Philippines. That's why it is an old structure. That's why you can see the logo ay Spanish logo pa during the colonization in the Philippines way back centuries. So, ayan, malapit lang siya sa Agustin Church. Ang current COMELEC commissioner po natin ay si Honorable George Erwin M. Garcia. He is the current chairman of the COMELEC. If we're gonna define, the COMELEC is one of the 3 constitutional commissions as we discussed in the previous lessons, other than the Civil Service Commission and the Commission on Audit. According to the Section 2 of the Article 9 of the Constitution, gives the COMELEC the broad paper to enforce and administer all laws and regulations relative to the conduct of an election, plebiscite, initiative, and referendum, sorry for the wrong spelling, and recall. Mapag-aaralan pa na sa mga susunod, lalo na pag kumuha kayo ng law, kung ano-ano yung mga yan. Ano-ano ngayon ang powers of the COMELEC? Generally speaking, meron silang administrative, quasi-legislative, at quasi-judicial powers. When you say administrative, yun yung pamamahala nila mismo sa kanilang ahensya, yun yung pamamahala nila sa kanilang mga tao, yun yung pamamahala nila sa kanilang resources, at pamamahala nila within the organization. So that's already common and na-discuss na rin natin yan in other independent commission of the government of the Philippines. So when you say quasi-judicial, nasabi ko na rin sa inyo during face-to-face classes na ang quasi ay Latin ng salitang nangangahulugang as if or act as if. So parang nagiging korte rin minsan ng COMELEC o may kapangyarihan din silang maglitis. Anong tinatawag sa Ingles na quasi-judicial power of the COMELEC embraces the power to solve controversies arising from the enforcement of election laws and to be sole judge of all pre-proclamation controversies and of all contests relating to election, returns, and qualification. Lahat ng magrereklamo lahat ng magrereklamo sa COMELEC, lahat ng magpa-file ng petition, yung mga disqualification, mga magrereklamo ng dayaan, anomalya, may kakayahang maglitis ang COMELEC, no? Yun ang quasi-judicial power na tinatawag. Bagamat hindi talaga sila isang totoong korte. May kapangyarihan silang mag-hearing, mag-investigate, at maglitis. Halimbawa, sino ang kalimitan nilang iniimbestigahan o ginagamitan ng quasi-judicial powers? Yung tinatawag na mga nuisance candidate. So pag sinabi nating nuisance candidate, sila yung mga kandidato na palagay ng COMELEC ay hindi sila full dedicated sa pagtakbo. So ibig sabihin, parang nilalaro lang nila o niloloko lang nila at they are not fit to run for any position in the government, whatever specific position they are planning to run. So pag sinabing nuisance, parang panggulo. Sa Tagalog, ang nuisance ay parang panggulo. So sa taon-taon or kada 3 years, ang daming tumatakbo, ang daming nagpa-file ng COC o ng Certificate of Candidacy. So, sobrang dami, no? So, mahihirapan mamili ang taong bayan. Naniniwala ang COMELEC na yung iba ay makakaabala lamang o merong mga hindi full-hearted o talagang seryoso sa kanilang ginagawa. Tinuturing silang mga panggulo or nuisance candidate lang. No? So, sila yung ginagamitan ng quasi-judicial power ng COMELEC. So, halimbawa, siguro nabalitaan nyo naman ng mga nakaraang eleksyon, sikat na sikat ito sa social media at sa television, si Rastaman na ilang beses nang dineclare na nuisance candidate dahil ilang beses na rin siyang tumakbo, I think twice or thrice. Nagpa-file siya ng Certificate of Candidacy sa COMELEC. Yes, he is legible to run. Yes, pasok siya dun sa mga qualification ng tinatakbuhan niyang posisyon. Subalit, kailangan i-filtered out ng COMELEC yung mga lahat ng tatakbo. Kung kayo ba ay qualified talaga, kayo ba ay may kakayanang tumakbo, kayo ba ay may means o meron kayong capability to run and to win that election. Kung wala, puwede kayong i-consider ng COMELEC na nuisance candidate upon, thorough investigation. Ayan. So, nung 2010 election, nagsimula ang automated election in the Philippines. Ayan. PCOS dati ang ginagamit, ngayon ay AVC, kung tawagin dahil nagpalit ng supplier, automatic voting machine. According po sa ating Republic Act number 8436 noong 1997, noong 1997 pa lang may batas nang nagsasaad that authorizing the COMELEC to use automated election. Naipasa na o naisulong na ang batas since 1997 na dapat maging automated na ang election. So balit, after many years of debate, kung manual or automated ang gagamitin. Nangyari lang ito, nag-materialize lang ito noong 2010. Maybe due to increase and modernization of technology na din all over the world. So the people and the government already accepted this. Then the automated election system has been adapted to ensure free, orderly, honest, peaceful, credible, and informed elections that will ensure the sanctity of the election. So ito yung example ballot na ginagamit tuwing automated election. So sineshadan lang po ito. Uulitin po natin, bawal po ang lagpas, bawal po ang overvoting. Pwede ang undervote pero bawal ang overvote kasi may invalid na po ang boto nyo for that specific position. Pero yung iba, makakount naman kung valid, kung tama yung binoto nyo, kung hindi siya sobra. So, bawal din pong lagpas-lagpas dyan dahil baka hindi po makount ng ating voting counting machine. So, nung manual ng election, very famous tong yellow na box na ito, which is napanood naman natin sa pinanood nating pelikula ni Marian Rivera na Balota. So, nung manual o traditional ng election, dito po nilalagay yung boto dito sa Pilipinas. So, mahirap po ang manual na botohan, bukod sa hindi na siya precise, matagal pa siya. Magulo pag manual election dahil masyadong maraming gawin, masyadong maraming gagawin, masyadong dapat maraming i-consider. Pero ilang taon tong pinagtiyagaan ng Pilipinas, mas mabilis at mas precise kapag yung automated na ginagawa na natin hanggang ngayon. So, PCOS machine dati ang tawag, ang ibig sabihin ay Precinct Count Optical Scan. Most of the voters in the 2010 election, which is the first year na ginamit ang automated election, satisfied naman daw sila sa nangyaring botohan. Although may ilang agam-agam na baka mas automated ang dayaan, pero no one can prove it. At walang evidence, walang matibay na ebidensya na nagkaroon ng dayaan ng 2010 election during the first automated election. To the last part of today's lesson, ayan, may tinatawag pong political party at party list. To clarify, magkaiba po talaga ang political party at ang party list. Mukha sila lang magkapareho at most of the students or most of the people using this term, sometimes using this term interchangeably na pagpapalit nila. Pero magkaiba talaga ang ibig sabihin nito. Basta marinig lang nila yung salitang party, tingin nila isa na yon. Pero magkaiba talaga to. When we say political party, ito po ay nangangahulugan technically na it refers to an organized group of citizens advocating an ideology or platform, principles, and policies for the general conduct of the government, and which, as the most immediate means of ensuring adoption, regularly nominates and supports some of its leaders and members as candidates. So, di ba pag may tumatakbo, halimbawa sa school, to make it simpler, sa school may tumatakbo, di ba may isa silang party, may isa silang samahan, may pangalan pa nga sila. So, ang tawag doon ay political party. Kaya sila magkakasama kasi may iisa silang adhikain, may iisa silang advokasya, may isa silang pinaniniwalaan at iisa ang kanilang mga plataforma. So, required bang may political party kapag tatakbo ka sa local at national election in the Philippines? Hindi po required. Pero sa political landscape ngayon sa kasalukuyan, nagkakampi-kampihan kasi pag iisa lang kayong political party. Mas malakas yung kapangyarihan kapag may political party. Kaya minsan nahihirapan yung mga walang party o political party, yung tinatawag na mga independent candidate. May nananalo naman, no? A political party is a national party when its constituency is spread over the geographical territory of at least a majority of the region. So hiwa-hiwala, kahit sa mga local election, malalayong region at probinsya, yung mga tumatakbo na candidate running for local positions, they can affiliate into political parties nationally. Halimbawa, anong halimbawa ng mga political party? May alam ba kayo? Halimbawa, ito, medyo malabo lang yung picture na nakuha ko. May political party. I know you heard these political parties in television or in news. So may tinatawag na Liberal Party, nag-exist pa po itong mga political party na to. Lakas ka kang PCMD, medyo marami-rami ang political party sa Pilipinas. Ito lang yung mga sikat or famous at maraming mga members. Nationalista Party, Nationalist People's Coalition, tsaka Pwersa ng Masang Pilipino. Yan. Ang mga political party ay may political color. Ang Liberal Party ay yung dilaw. Ang orange ay yung PMP or Pwersa ng Masang Pilipino. Ayan. Ang una, orange din. Ang PDP Laban, blue. Si Grace po dito ay independent candidate, wala siyang party. So ito yung presidential election ng 2016. Si Marojas ay tumatakbo under Liberal Party. So ibig sabihin, siya yung manok ng party na yon. Tapos PRP naman, People's Republic, si Miriam Defensor Santiago. Next, let us define the party list system. Ito naman yung binoboto natin kada eleksyon na makikita natin sa likod ng balota. So, ito po yung common na nakikita rin natin sa mga advertisement sa kalsada. Sila po yung mga party list. Grupo naman sila, no, na they represent certain sector. So, tinanong ko na kayo nung nakaraan, ilang party list ang binoboto sa isang eleksyon, sa isang term? So, ang tamang sagot ay isa lang. Ayan. Pero kung sino man yung higher 60% ng mga party list, magkakaroon sila ng posisyon sa House of Representatives as party list representative. Up to 3 members ang pwede nilang iupo sa lower house para sa lawmaking. So, if we're gonna define what is party list? In the Philippines, a party list, it is a mechanism of proportional representation in the election of representatives to the House of Representatives from national, regional, and sectoral parties or organizations or coalitions within the COMELEC. So, ang dapat tumakbo sa mga party list ay nire-represent nila dapat yung kung anong party list sila, bawal yung hindi. Pero kung magkaroon ng ganoon, dapat they're subject for investigation at dapat hindi sila ma-disqualify sila kasi naman they are not truly represent a sector they are belong to. May tinatawag na mga uri kasi ang party list, particularly ng common sa Pilipinas, number one, ay ang sectoral parties. When we say sectoral parties, it refers to organization, group of citizens whose principal advocacy pertains to the special interests and concerns of different sectors. So, ayan. Sektor ang nire-represent mo. Halimbawa, mangingisda, magsasaka, mga guro, jeepney driver, mga kabataan, mga kababaihan, mga LGBT, dapat certain sector of society ang nire-represent mo. Kaya pag nanalo kayo at naiupo kayo, ang mga law o mga batas na gagawin nyo are for the benefit of that sector you are representing. Halimbawa, na-discuss na rin natin, one of the famous party lists in the Philippines is the Gabriela party list. What sector they are representing? Women. So, ang mga pinaglalaban nila ay women rights, benefits ng mga kababaihan, and etc. Ang Kabataan Party List, they are fighting for the rights of the youth. They are fighting for the benefits of the youth as a youth. And the famous Teachers Party List, they are fighting for the rights of teachers in the Philippines, not just in public sector, but also the teachers from the private sector. May tinatawag na ang Ladlad Party List. So they are fighting for the rights of the LGBT people in the Philippines. So syempre, Philippines lang yan, no? Tapos pag sa eleksyon, hindi po alphabetical order yung mga party list. Dati alphabetical order yan, pero binago nila kasi lahat na lang ginagawang letter A ang pangalan nila para mauna sila sa listahan. Pero ginawa na yung jumbled, nagbubunutan ng mga party list bago sila mailagay sa balota para kung anong number nila kasi magulo. Ang agri-party list, they are fighting for the rights of the farmers, especially other members of the agricultural sector. Ayan. Ang first party list election in the Philippines ay ginawa lamang noong 1998. So before 1998, wala pa pong party list system. Ayan. To end our topic today about election, mga anak, dito lang po nagtatapos. Ang masasabi ko lang sa inyo as your PPG teacher, and that is also what I'm also reminding to all of you every now and then, let us all be intelligent voters para magkaroon tayo ng good future at umangat naman ang bansa natin sa progreso. Yun lang po. Maraming salamat.